Hey, good morning, everybody. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and the sun's just coming up, as you can see over my shoulders here. And I'm doing my early morning inspection, just a little walkthrough, checking on the ladies, see how they're doing, going through and plucking out leaves that are either dying or dead or translocated, all sorts of stuff. Some of them looking really nice, and some of them are like, they're a little bit hungry. And today is a feeding day, so I thought I'd bring you guys in. We'll take a look at some of the things that I'm mixing up. I've been brewing up a tea. Started that yesterday. Actually, yesterday morning I set it up. So let's go take a look. I'm going to bring you in. All right, let's fix the selfie stick here a little bit. All right, so what I've done so far, yesterday I set up the tank. This is the 30-gallon tank. Filled it up with filtered water. As you can see, I got my hose end water filter that I talk about. Nice clean water. Started with the base, and then I added in the Terp Tea by Roots Organic. I love this stuff. It's you can use it for top dressing. I'm going to show you that in a second. And also you can brew a tea, hence the name tea. Right? And it's full of goodness. So what we're doing here, let's take a look. See if you guys should be able to see that. We've got a 3% nitrogen, 7% phosphate, 4% potassium, 8% calcium, need lots of calcium, magnesium, sulfur, 2%, iron, 0.01%. It's all made from goodness, as you can see there on the label. I won't go through the entire thing, but it also has some bacilluses. These bacillus bacteria are very beneficial. It's 25 million colony forming units per gram, baby, per gram. So I like to call those the workers on the job site. There's also mycorrhiza fungi that helps with your root development. They both help the plant feed more efficiently. So I started brewing the tea yesterday, and if you don't know, it's beneficial when you add air stones. So I have just a little 2-port output pump right in here. I just keep it inside the container, so if it rains or anything like that, it stays nice and dry. This is just my little work box for this particular project. So that's been brewing all night long, and when I took the cover off right here, it had a nice little foamy top on it, which just indicates there's some activity, the bacteria is growing and the microorganisms are growing. I also added in some P31. This is a gift from Dr. Lynn out of Clintek. She's a microbiologist and figured out how to culture this particular colonies, is a group of colonies of bacteria in here. This is phosphate solubilizing bacteria. And phosphorus is one of the hardest elements for a plant to actually process and to uptake. So if I can add a bacteria that's going to accelerate that, for sure. So live beneficial from the root zone to benefit your root zone. So it was cultured from a root zone of a cannabis plant, and then I got to tell you guys, when I started using this, at first I met Dr. Lynn at one of the conventions, and you get free samples from everybody. Well, you used to. These days you don't get so much because there's not enough good economy yet. All right, but that's a different subject matter. Let's not go there, Joe. Stay on track. All right, so Dr. Lynn gifted me a bottle of this some years ago, and I tried it out, and I just saw a noticeable difference. And again, at the time, it was kind of like bro science. Like, man, I just smell stronger. The terps are just stronger. I was running the Mac 1, the cap's cut. It was gifted to me, and I had been running that for probably 4 years. And you know your structures. You just know how it is. You've been running it long enough. It's a crowd pleaser. Everybody loves that genetic. It's not a huge yielding plant, so there's a trade-off there of yield versus time and energy. However, people love it. And I noticed when I started using it, the smell just got amplified. It was crazy. Then a good friend of mine, Ed Groen, who is a really good grower, has a very sizable library. And at the time, the library was somewhere around 27 different cultivars. And he's a type of science-driven grower, right? So he's really into data. And in his grow operation, he has his product tested each month. So he sends it out to one of our local labs. It's reputable, and does a full profile, potency of THC, the terpene profiles, everything, contaminants. And he had just done a testing of 27 of his cultivars at the time. This is a couple years back, by the way. And you can find that interview that I did. It's on my YouTube channel, so just go back a little, maybe 2 years ago, you'll see it. But anyways, I said, Ed, you got to try this stuff. He goes, listen, I have a 400-gallon tank. You have a what? 40-gallon tank? So there's a difference in scale, and it's an expense, because this is not, it's not the cheapest stuff, but it's very effective, and you don't need a lot. It's a 0.5 milliliter per gallon. So it goes a long way, but this bacteria really helps with the terpenes, and we proved it. So scientifically, he says, all right, I'll do it on your suggestion. You've been pestering me about it. I'm just saying, guy, you know, I walk in my room and it's loud. It hits me in the head, and I'm like, wow, something's changed. And the only variable was this, the P31. And so all of a sudden, it's like he does another run, and he does a full profile testing, the exact same genetics prior run, and he saw massive increases in the terpene percentages. Some of them upwards of 300% increase. And this is factual data. It's on the public record to see that. So this particular product is always on my shelf. It's a game changer. So to the point, I added the recommended dosing into the bucket last night. And again, part of that foam coming up was these microbes were beginning to activate and multiply. I did that purposely because I wanted the cultures to work overnight and eat some of those organic matters and so forth. Now I also added in the silica, the monosylic acid, the Si28. This helps the plant feed more and also strengthen it, helps to build its resistance to stresses like heat stress, drought stress, all those sort of things. The other thing I added in from Dr. Lin was the Super Janitor. Now, Super Janitor is a live beneficial enzyme factory. Enzymes help keep your root zone clean. Enzymes also break down dead root material, turn it back into carbohydrates, which makes it a food source for the plant. So this is, you know, for years I was using other products that were enzymes. And I said, Dr. Lin, what do you think of these products? She says, those are good products. Yeah, they're good, but how would you like to have the product that makes those products? And I'm like, talk to me, cutting out the middleman. I'm all about it. So she says, try this stuff, and this is absolutely amazing. So I just added some into my brew. As you can see, everything's bubbling away nicely because I got my air stones in there doing their thing. Now, because I've added the terp tea, which is an organic, and it's a micronized organic powder, it has a tendency to settle. So I use my trusty mixing stick. All right, it's a shovel. It's a small mini shovel. And I just basically just push it like this, and it circulates the water, and it gets the stuff from the bottom that's settled to mix. So as I feed the plants, which we're going to go take a look at in just a moment, I like to mix this up really good, get that stuff off the bottom, and get it mixed in. Now, I also added, oh, let's not stop there. I also added in the Recharge. If you haven't used Recharge, and I don't get any endorsements on any of this, this is not a commercial or anything. I'm just showing you what I use, okay? Now, I'm not only the president, I'm a user, baby. I smoke the product. I do. The original soil microbe super pack. So this really, it's an instant compost tea. It basically supercharges your, I like to say, the workers on the job site. These are all the colony forming units, 6.4 CFU. CFU stands for colony forming units /G, which means per gram. So I like to say I'm bringing a bunch of workers to the job site to help move the stuff around. And I'm like, okay, bring it on. There's going to be some kelp in there, which helps the acceleration of the growth of the plant. So, and then there's a molasses. It's a microbe food. Yeah, you got to give them some sugars, baby. Humic acid, fulvic acid, amino acids, building blocks. Yeah, those are chelators. They help the plant feed more nutrition. So I use this once a week. I've been using it since it hit the market. At first I thought it was a gimmick, and I'm like, I'll try it. All right. And I saw immediate results, and you're like, wait a minute. The next day the plants are praying and tacoing like I've never seen before. I'm like, oh yeah, you're on the list. You stay here. So get yourself a bag of Recharge. They sell in the small little sample size. If you're not sure, you don't want to spend the money, try one pack. It makes about 4 or 5 gallons of liquid when you mix it in. And I'll tell you, once you try that, you'll be like all the growers I put onto this product are on it permanently. All right. Now, the last thing I'm going to be adding in, hey, buddy, here's my guard dog. This is Ollie. He's protecting things. He's doing his rounds, checking on things. He's like, what are you doing? I'm mixing up some brew. You can't drink that. That's not good for you. Now the last thing I'm going to add in is some more, a little bit more molasses. So Mendocino honey, really nice product. I just tried this out for the first time. I just bought this a few weeks ago. And at the grocery store, you guys probably saw that tour I did yesterday morning. I still have a second part to post up. That was before the store really opened up, and I was able to do a walkthrough without any people in there. It's really cool to be able to go through and see a proper, grocery store and the things that you might see you didn't know about. Like for years, I'd ask grocery store owners, like, "Hey, give me an edge. I'm looking for something." They'll point you in the direction. You try it out, and you say, "I got results." And some things you'll try and go like, I don't know. I don't see the results. I don't know if I want to keep paying for it, right? But this is, it's got a little bit of nitrogen in it. It's just small numbers, some potassium. Let's see. Also contains non-plant food. It's got a yucca. It's got a wetting agent, and it's a montmorillonite. I can't pronounce that word. Montmorillonite clay. Never heard that word before. Anyway, so I've just added. I'm about to add that actually. I just measured up 150 milliliters right there. This is also another thing about having measuring cups. I have all different types, all different sizes. So you get all these different types of measuring cups that you use from time to time. And so I put up 150 milliliters. So it says 1 to 2 teaspoons. A teaspoon is 5 milliliters, by the way, if you didn't know that. So I'm just going light on it. So I'm going to mix this in, and I'll shovel it. I'm going to shovel it in. So all I want to do is just mix that in. It's kind of thick. You can see it sticking to the sides. Get it out of that measuring cup. Get it cleaned out. There we go. Now it's clean. So now I'm just going to put that right back over here, hang out there, and we're going to mix this a little bit. Now what we're going to do, I think what I'm going to do is take the air stones out right now because I don't need them at this moment. But I do need to do is be able to mix this. So let's take these out, drop them there. Let's get this stuff mixed up from the bottom, get all the settlement from the terp tea that sits down the bottom, get it mixed into the water. Now, here's the last thing that we're going to do. Is we're going to check the pH of this liquid. See if it's in the optimal range. We talked about pH yesterday on that video. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. So pH is potential of hydrogen. It's a scale of 0 to 14. 7 is neutral, below 7 is acidic, above it is alkaline. Your cannabis plants, those ladies over there, they like a little bit more acidity at the root zone for absorption of the minerals that we're about to feed them, all the nutrition. And in that optimal range, the rule of thumb is between 6.0 and 7.0, okay? I call that, if you were throwing darts at a dartboard, 6 to 7 is you're hitting the dartboard, all right? But I kind of like to win, and when you're running organics, so this is an organic grow. There's a little synganic in there, but for the most part organic, and they like between 6.2 and 6.5 is kind of like hitting the bullseye. Hitting the bullseye, baby. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our trusty Blue Labs pen. Now, it's important that you calibrate your pens. If you have a 1-point calibration or a 2-point, mine's a 2-point. So I have a 4.01 by Milwaukee, good stuff, priced right. 7.01, those are the two reference points. They're calibration buffering solution, calibration buffer solution. See right there? And so right now I have a 7.0 in the measuring device, which is a shot glass with all the different things on it. And what I'm doing is, I checked it earlier, it was hitting at 7.0 or 7.69. It was just, I'm just going to test it. Periodically I'll test it, make sure I'm getting an accurate reading. 6.9. And sometimes you got to wiggle the device, the pH pen. So I'm 6.9, so I'm close enough for rock and roll. And it's a 0.9, so it's off just a tiny bit. But this Blue Labs pen is probably 3 years old now. They do last a while, but they don't last forever. So it might be time to get a fresh pen or a backup pen. I like to have 2 pens. Oh, there we go. So now we're getting a 7.0. Well, it was 7 for a second. Let's see if it goes to 7. Sometimes you put it into, but anyways, close enough. and I'm going to be a base point. It's not critical because I'm not running salts. I'm actually running organic, so I want to be in a range. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check the liquid solution here and see where it comes in at. Now here's when you're doing your testing in your liquid, you know, shake it back and forth a few times, and it'll speed up its testing process. Ooh, look at that. Before I added in the recharge and the, what did I put in there? The molasses. That was the Mendocino honey. Before I did that, it was running at around 7.3, and right now we're at 6.3. So adding those things definitely do lower the number, but guess what? We are spot on. We are on this, like, we're hitting a bullseye here. Now you'll also notice it shows you the temperature of the water is 81 degrees. Because I've had it out all night, when I put it in here from the hose, it was probably about 60 degrees. And now it's acclimated to the temperature of the air around us. So 81 degrees, that's another thing. If you are looking at those numbers and you see it's down in the 50, 55, 60s, you might want to let it sit and get up to temperature to the room that you're in or the tent that you're going to water in. You don't want to shock the roots. So we're 6.3, we are spot on. Another thing about your pH pen that you should remember to do is always I get it, you got to spend a couple of bucks, but you got to have your tools working correctly. So it helps to store it. This is a potassium chloride. Right? Potassium chloride helps to maintain the hydration of the head, that little glass head here. You see that little glass head there? So to maintain it, you want to put a few drops. What's nice about this Blue Labs, it has a little cup inside there. That cup you can put a few drops in. I'll do this later when I finish up this video, but what we're going to do is we're going to mix this one more time here, and then I'm going to go water the plants. I'm not going to bring you through that entire process because there's no need for that, but you get the point. Making up a good brew, and before I scoop it up